I had this problem yesterday where it wouldn't go live. I would do it today. I had it down. Well, what I might do is just go live on Facebook again if this doesn't work. Okay, I'm not seeing myself live. So I'm going to go to Facebook and see what the problem is because I don't see that I am live on Facebook. I'll just go live. Maybe I need to go live from Facebook. Maybe it's changed. So let's see. Facebook. Creating cultural legacy. Lost and found pets and everything. Still says I'm recording, but doesn't say I'm live on Facebook yet. So, do it this way. Well, while I'm waiting, I'll just let you know what I'm doing on Zoom. Since my Zoom would not connect to Facebook for some reason, I am creating a post and going live that way. There's more than one way to skin a cat. It may not let me do both at the same time. I might do it on my phone. Here we go. Got the link. I'll do it there. Okay, let me try that way. Work that way. Hello, this is Kathy coming to you on day 3 of creating cultural legacy. And when technology fails, I will prevail. So welcome to day 3 of creating cultural legacy. I don't have my VA today, so I am doing it solo. Unless someone else comes aboard to monitor my chat and my Zoom, that's okay because I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you in America who celebrate Thanksgiving It's our excuse to eat as much as we can and test different foods that we may not necessarily eat throughout the rest of the year. So I want to wish you and yours a very great Thanksgiving. And I want to start this out by sharing, and I'm looking at two screens, so do forgive me. I am going to look at two screens, and maybe if I sat back a little bit, it won't look so far away on the screen. So today is day 3 where I dive deep into legacy. But before I do that, I want to thank those of you who have commented, those who have purchased the playbook, which is a brief synopsis of this challenge. The challenge in which day 1, I talked about ownership. Day 2, I talked about investing. And today I'm bringing it home with the legacy piece, because I believe it's important for each and every one of us to live on purpose, to acquire wealth, to be able to live an abundant life, and to be able to pass that on to generations to come, or for generations to come. My big why behind this is because I want to help you. This is not something I need for me. This is something I'm extending to you like an olive branch. I want to be able to help those who may not have had the same sort of upbringing I did, or those who may not have the same understanding about real estate and wealth the way I do. I just want to be able to share that with you and answer a couple of questions. I did have a young lady reach out to me and say, I've never owned a home before. Is this for me? Yes, it's for you, because you can start from where you are and build upon that, right? You can start by not being a homeowner to actually acquiring your first piece of real estate, to using that first piece of real estate to turn into your investment, and then move on to the next stage, which is, I'm trying to see, am I on both screens? Let me look at Facebook and see if I am streaming through Facebook as well. Let's see. I'm going to do a quick test to see if I am actually on Facebook or not. Because if I'm not, then let's see, most recent, most new posts. I'll see if I'm on, because I have two different groups going on. I want to make sure that I'm in the right place. So I will proceed, because if it is not on Facebook, I can always repost it through Zoom. Yesterday, I had a little bit, a big technical glitch in it. I thought I had it resolved because my Zoom is working fine. Now it's my Facebook feed that's a little bit off. But nevertheless, this is something that is very important. As I was saying, it's not something I need. I've acquired the training, the knowledge, the understanding, the wherewithal to do all the things that I'm talking about and more. However, I know there are many of you who are either at the beginning stages or looking at a way to level up where you are. So if that speaks to you, then this is the place for you. Today, legacy has to do with, what will you leave behind? What will you leave behind? Each and every one of us has, looking at my time, each and every one of us has an expiration date. I know that doesn't sound too promising, because you think about expiration, you think of produce, okay? Produce has an expiration date, and anything that is edible has an expiration date. Although I have seen people who have purchased things from fast food restaurants, kept them in a container, and it looks exactly the same. So I can't say that fast food is produce, but I will say that all living, breathing people, things, even the earth has an expiration date. Things on the earth, plants, vegetation, they have an expiration date. Do you think they live on and on? Do you think you're going to live on and on in this body? Newsflash, no. We all have an expiration date. And that's why I think it's so imperative to get this message out to you so that you can create your own cultural legacy. So whether you're starting out at the foundation level, I can work with you to help you understand what it means to truly own a piece of real estate, how to steward that piece of real estate. I have someone calling me at the same time as I'm doing my Zoom, so excuse that if my screen went off for a second. But each and every one of us has the ability to acquire real estate, whether you have your own funds, whether you use someone else's funds, whether you receive private money, whether you receive finance money, it does not matter the vehicle. It just matters that you can reach your objective. You can reach the goal of owning real estate. And then switching that mindset. Now you may say, well, I don't even own a piece of real estate. So why are you talking about the next step? Well, without a vision, without being able to cast that vision of where you want to go, you really have no trajectory. You're just kind of going all over the place. And so this is basically a 1, 2, 3, 3-step process in which you can own it, invest. Looks like someone's calling me. Own it, invest in it, and leave a legacy. And the reason I say leave a legacy, because you want to leave the next generation better than you found it. And you want to be able to leave something for those that you love, the people in your life that you love, whether you have a family, whether you have extended family, friends, people you love and care for. Those are the people that you're creating this legacy for. And this legacy is going to comprise of real estate. That's specifically what I'm talking about, real estate. Now, I've shared stories before, but I'm going to do a short review of one of the stories that I shared with you, which has to do with my story. Now, each and every one of you will have your own story. So I'm saying my story so that you can look back and see who's been teaching you, who's been mentoring you, who's been coaching you, who's prepared you for where you are today, who has led you to this point to where you are today. Some people say I'm self-made, I did it myself. Well, I beg to differ. I don't believe that we are self-made. I believe we are creative beings and we get an opportunity to create just like our creator created us. I believe we get a chance to create things. And one of those things, I got a bug on my, sorry, got a bug on my desk. Okay. One of the things we get to create is wealth. The wealthiest people in the world own real estate. My story starts with training from my father, my earthly father, who has since passed away, where I resented almost everything that he tried to instruct me to do. At the same time, I was fascinated because he was so funny and so smart, even though he didn't have the, educational background that a lot of people have or that I currently have now. He didn't have that, but he had common sense. And, and my family always says common sense is not so common. Or they'll say common sense ain't so common, because it's not. He had such a wealth of knowledge and common sense, and he had a large family. There were 11, I believe 11 brothers, 8 brothers and 3 sisters. So he had a large family. And he was one of the only ones from his sibling group that went on to not only purchase real estate, but purchase investment property and to be able to rent out those property to family members. Now, his father owned a lot of acreage, and his father's father owned a lot of acreage. So I come from a history, a lineage of real estate owners. Real estate owners. I've always been taught that ownership is paramount to wealth. So when you own it, you get to decide what to do with it. When you're renting or you're a tenant, you don't really get to decide what to do. And not only that, but you don't get the financial benefit. You don't get the tax benefit. You don't get the write-off. You don't get any of that. You are paying. You are not receiving. It is not the law of, well, you're receiving temporary housing because it's temporary. It's just for that period of time, the period of time of the lease or the period of time that the owner is allowing you to live there if you don't have a lease. So I've always been taught that. So think about your story of origin, your history. Where did you get the idea of ownership? And where did you get the idea of being a tenant? Now, I've met people in my career, in my business, that have been lifelong tenants, and they don't see a problem with that. It's hard to show someone there's a problem if they don't think there's a problem. So if you're tuning out now because you're saying it's not a problem, I've been renting all my life, it's not a problem, then maybe this is not for you. Then maybe you can tune me off. I'm speaking to people that are interested in growing wealth. I'm speaking to people that are interested in ownership. I'm speaking to people that are interested in investing and creating wealth for themselves so that they can leave it for generations to come. And the reason I say for generations to come is because over the years within the Black community and in other cultures and other communities, a there's been a process, a deliberate process of excluding people from ownership, right? It's not been that long ago that we were considered property. It's not been that long ago, really, historically speaking, it has not been that long ago. But property, people cannot be property. They were considered that, but they weren't really that in reality. They weren't that. They were called that. So that was something that was put on them. That wasn't something that they signed up for or agreed. So now I think it's time, more than ever, it's time to seize the opportunity to conquer the land, to take territory. How do you take territory? You buy property, you buy real estate. You are the owner. You become the owner. Now I'm going to take that owner and kind of park that for a minute because there's a piece of ownership that has to do with stewardship. If you're not managing what you have, then basically you're just acquiring and becoming what I like to call a slumlord. A slumlord is someone who acquires property and does not maintain it. If you've ever lived in a place where the paint's peeling or the toilets don't flush properly, or the electricity is shoddy, or the roof is leaking, any of those issues, and you are not the owner, someone else owns it and they are managing it or stewarding it, then I would call that being a slumlord. Now flips the other way. What if you own property that the roof's leaking, the paint's peeling, all those things, and you aren't taking care of it? Then even though you're an owner, you're not stewarding that property very well. And in time, that property will go by the wayside, meaning the value will go down and it deteriorates. Have you ever seen a property that's vacant? A vacant house that you've driven by time and time again. Now, investors will look at those vacant houses and see those as opportunities, and they are. And I want you to see that way as well. But the point I want to bring to your attention is when you see a vacant home and it's been vacant for quite a bit of time, I'll say years, after a period of time, the house will start to implode on itself. And do you know why houses do that? They debilitate because there's no one living in them. There's no life there. There's no air circulating through that house. No one's taking care of it. No one's heating it up in the wintertime. No one's opening the doors to cool it off in the summertime. So that house starts to deteriorating? What if you saw yourself as a house? I know that's a far reach. What if you saw yourself as a house and you're an empty house, meaning you haven't eaten, meaning you haven't had any water, meaning you're just existing, right? So just like a house, after a period of time, you'll basically dry up and die because there's no life in you. Houses are the same way in the sense that there needs to be some life. There needs to be some stewardship. Someone needs to manage it and take care of it. And being an owner has a different sort of mindset. When you become an owner, I believe you start to care about what you own. I have grandsons that have learned this principle of mine. I think children learn that early. This is mine. This is mine, right? When you own real estate, there's a sense of pride about ownership. I own this. This is mine. I'm going to treat it right. I'm going to take care of it. I don't want to lose it. I'm going to pay the mortgage. I'm going to pay the taxes. I'm going to save up to replace the roof because I don't want the house to lose its value. I don't want it to deteriorate. So when you step into ownership, I believe you step into a different mindset, a mindset of care, a mindset of integrity, a mindset of I care, right? I care about what I own, just like you care about your family, you care about your children. So this day is set aside to talk about what happens at the end of the expiration date. Now, there's two ditches that you might fall into when it comes to leaving a legacy, because we'll all leave some sort of legacy. The question is, what sort of legacy will we leave? Will we leave a legacy of wealth and abundance for generations to come? Or will we leave a legacy of debt? Will we leave a legacy of debt? I hope not. I hope not. Let me change my view just in case I am on speaker view. Looks like I'm double speaker view. I hope I'm not double on the screen. Okay. So we will only leave a legacy. The question is, what sort of legacy will you leave behind? Hopefully, it's a legacy of abundance. But I was starting to say there's two ditches that you can fall into when you pass away and you own property. You can pass away and not be married or married. So if you're married, it's pretty typical in pretty much every state that the surviving spouse receives the real estate. That's pretty simple. Now, let's say you're not married and you pass away and you don't have a will, then what happens to that property? That property ends up going into what's called probate. And unless there is a will. Now, if there is a will, let's say I pass away and I have a will, and let's say, I won't say me because I'm not a good example. Let's say you pass away and you don't have a will and you own real estate. You don't have a will and you own real estate. That ends up going into probate because the attorneys, the municipalities need to determine who the legal heirs are of the property, the rightful heirs. And so they will do a title search and they will determine whether Sue, Sally, Joe, Jim, Bob, who lived next door, who was like a daughter, is actually entitled to the property. I mean, I've heard of some weird things, so just follow me here. If you do pass away and you do not have a will and you have people that you love and care for, then that's who you're actually hurting. You're hurting the people that you love because you're not taking care of business for yourself so that they'll be cared for when you're gone. This is even more paramount now. There are more and more people passing away under the age of 50, I believe, than ever before. I just lost someone the other day who happened to be the same age as me, 59. Uh, every day I'm hearing of these things, either whether it's outside in the media, which I don't like to listen to news, but I happen to see it on my screen or something like that, or hear it at home. There's always someone passing away, whether they're young or old, and they leave something. I mean, there are people that are very or were very wealthy, like Prince. Many of you may have heard of him. Well, he passed away unexpectedly without a will, and his property was in probate. I believe it just came out of probate for years. I mean, years. So all those millions and millions or billions, I don't know if he was a billionaire, but all of that money tied up in legal process. Don't let what you've created go to someone else. Don't let the government get their hands in your real estate. Don't let the municipalities and the legal process of probate deplete what you've created. That's a ditch. That's a ditch. That this is the purpose of creating this group to share this knowledge and this information. I want you to be able to acquire real estate, to invest in real estate, and to leave a legacy for your children's children and generations to come. People that you care about, people that you love. That's the best way you can show you love them, by taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself financially, taking care of yourself. Because there's a reason why when you're on an airplane, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first. There's a reason why they say that. I'll turn the screen. There's a reason why they say that. If you can't breathe and you're over here trying to put the mask on your grandkids, you're going to fall out before you can get to all of them because you don't have any air yourself. So through this process, this 1, 2, 3 process, this 3-step process, I want to teach and to coach and to mentor you into growing your ownership, your investment, and that legacy piece. And avoid all the ditches, right? There's obvious ditches that we can see, that we know about, that you can avoid. Number one, if you do not have a will, get a will, okay? If you remember nothing else from today, okay? Get a will. Number two, if you don't have a life insurance policy, get a life insurance policy. Now, the life insurance policy is not to make someone else rich when you pass away, but the life insurance policy is to make them whole when you're gone. I had someone explain this to me when I purchased my life insurance policy. It said, it's not about you making them wealthy, but what will they need in your absence? You are generating income. You're generating all this financial stability for the family, and then it's gone. So that life insurance policy is there for that. Now, I will say my father did not believe in life insurance, and some of you may not either. He didn't believe in life insurance, but he believed in taking care of his family. And the way he chose to take care of his family is he got savings bonds. He would have drawers of savings bonds. And whenever he wanted to buy a brand new Cadillac, he'd go in that drawer, pull out his savings bonds, cash them in, and pay cash for his car. That's what I observed with him showing me, without showing me, showing me without showing me. So what have you seen your parents do, your grandparents do, your aunts, your guardians? What have you seen them do? That's how you learn. Now, you can learn it the right way, and you can also learn it the wrong way. You can learn from someone who's doing everything the wrong way to learn not to do it that way. I'm fortunate that I had a father who taught me the right way without even knowing it, because I observed. What are you watching? What are your kids watching? What are your grandkids watching? Are they seeing you in business? Are they seeing you in your pursuit of real estate? Are they watching you? Or are they kind of busy with other things? I like to include my grandkids with me when I'm doing anything real estate related and get them involved so that they can understand what it is I'm doing and what I'm leaving for them. Right now, things are a little different today with collecting rents. We can do things online. It's not like it was in the old days. My father would actually walk up to the doors and collect rent by knocking on the door. It's rent day, pull out the ledger, write it down. Now, it may not, that may be the way you want to do it. I'm not sure. I'm 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 not adverse to doing that. However, I think there's a more efficient way to do business today, and that's how I do it, online. And this happens to be one vehicle that can be used to work your business online. And I just wanted to be able to share that with you. There's a transition between the old school and the new school. And there's a lot to be learned about the old way of doing things with the face-to-face and with the handshake. Now, I don't know if it was COVID that really did it, but I believe it did it for a lot of people where you really don't want to do the handshake anymore. And you really don't want to go face to face and breathe air from other people's space. You might not want to do that. So this social media platform, whether you use Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, whatever social media platform you use, it's a vehicle you can use for your business. Now, I've reached out to a couple of people that have said, I don't want to be on Facebook. I don't want to be on any social media platform. In fact, I'm getting off of it. And that's fine. However, it doesn't help you to have the farthest reach possible with your business. It does not help you with the farthest reach of teaching, training, coaching, mentoring. It does not help. Now you can go back to the old school way of doing things like knocking on doors. I tried that in real estate. Actually, I did try that because as a new real estate broker, realtor, I wanted to try a little bit of everything. When you don't have any business, you will you will be motivated for business if that's the only business you have. And that's how you feed your family. So I did try some door knocking, and I found out very quickly I didn't like it. I didn't like when I knocked on people's door, and I didn't like when they knocked on my door. I would prefer to have message someone and have them say, no, I'm not interested. Fine. I don't have to smell your breath. I don't have to see your face directly. So that's fine. That's fine. I'm just thinking about how that's going to look. But you do not have to do the door knocking. You don't have to do the face-to-face. I believe social media is it's the greatest advantage and it's the greatest disadvantage. You get to choose how you use it. You get to choose how you use it. And many people that I talk to that want to get off, that hate it, have said, well, that's how I found who my blank, blank, blank was. That's how I found out that's how I reached out to my classmates. So there are so many positive attributes as well as negative. You get to choose. So when we talk about leaving the legacy, what are you creating right now that you can tangibly think of. Write those things down. What have I created? What would I like generations behind me to know about me? I'm fortunate that I live in a multi-generational household. I live with my mother, my husband, uh, one daughter now. Two daughters moved out, so I kind of adult daughters in and out. So I'd say probably more out lately than in, which is good because they're living in their own space. So I have them, and then I have my two grandsons. And now I have my nephew who just got out of the military living with us. So add that into the mix. So all of those people with all those different ideas on business, different ideas on everything. That's kind of like a melting pot. So think about what your family situation is now. Maybe you live alone. Maybe it's just you. It's a great opportunity to invest in yourself, to learn strategies, to own real estate, learn strategies to invest in real estate, learn strategies to leave a legacy, know how to prepare, not to prepare, but know who the resources are that you need to be able to create deeds, to create trusts, to create LLCs, to create corporations, entities. Know what those things are, because those are the vehicles that you will have to protect your wealth. I've been in real estate for 28 years, but it wasn't until almost year 10, 8 to 10, that I discovered I shouldn't be a sole proprietor. I was a sole proprietor for all those years until an attorney said, "Why are you paying so much in taxes?" I don't know. Every time my income increases, I'm paying more in taxes. Sorry, there's all kinds of things in my office. I apologize. Um, so this particular, he wasn't an attorney, he was a CPA. So I met him at a social networking meeting. It's important to go to networking meetings because you never know who you might meet and how they might be able to help you in your business, and vice versa, how you might be able to help them. So I found out that a sole proprietor pays the highest level of income taxes, and a corporation or an LLC pays the least amount. And the reason they do is because they schedule their payments and they pay themselves a salary. I didn't know that. That's free. That's a simple concept that I didn't know, that I'm passing on to you. Didn't know that. So the first 8 to 10 years, I was owing taxes because I wasn't a wise steward of my income, because it was like this, ebbs and flows. So when tax time came, I was scrambling to pay the taxes because I owed so much. Now that I've changed that to a corporation and corporation, I pay my quarterlies and I pay myself a salary, which makes life so much easier when it comes to tax time. I'm not stressed, I'm not burdened by the tax implications. And the wealthy people know this. The wealthy people know this. They know how to protect their assets. So as you acquire assets, know how to protect them. Understand how to protect your assets. I think I like saying that, excuse me, assets, protect your assets. Okay, so I learned that, like I said, maybe 20 years ago. I've been in business 28 years. I learned that in the first year that I filed taxes and did not owe. Wow, that was a great feeling. It was like relief. I know some people are waiting till tax time so they can get a refund. I was dreading tax time because I always had to pay. And then the script got flipped, as they say. I ended up receiving, I went from paying hefty sums of tax when it came, income tax, when it came to tax time, to paying very little, sorry, it's lying here, to actually receiving a return because I overpaid tax. So that was the ebbs and flow of being a broker. Now that's in any business. So you can transfer that principle to pretty much any business. If you have a business, then think about how you set up your business. Most people will set up their businesses with an LLC or an entity. And I do have a workshop that I did with what's Christopher Brown, who's an attorney, a local attorney. I did a workshop with him and he laid out the differences between entities, different types of entities, as well as trusts, real estate trusts, um, different types of trusts. So irrevocable trust, he just laid it all out to where it made so much sense to me. And for those who aren't familiar with those terms, it's good to learn them. It's good to learn them. And I can help you in that regard because I've already done the work and I have those. Those are really part of the VIP. So if you're interested in the VIP, then I do have that in the group. But the VIP is something where we get to get in a room off Facebook, on Zoom. I'm actually on both right now, but you get to be on and learn and then apply, because learning is just the first step in the process. Unless you apply it, it's worthless. Knowledge without application, I believe, is worthless. So I'd like you to be able to gain wisdom from what you're hearing me speak about. Sorry, I don't know why I'm in my office in the building that I don't own, and there happens to be this annoying fly. So sorry. That just got me so distracted. But the VIP, the VIP portion, you will be able to spend 2 weeks with me. 2 weeks, we'll do kind of a group session, depending on how many people join, but we'll do that to where we can break down whichever piece you want, whether it's the ownership piece or whether it's the investment piece. We can pick a strategy that maybe you want to employ with or without money. And then we could talk about the legacy piece on some good provisions that you could put in place to protect your assets and your wealth so you can leave a legacy for generations to come. And I'll show you how you can do that. I think I mentioned yesterday that my father, prior to him passing away, paid off his mortgage, and he ended up meeting me with an attorney and transferring all of his investment properties into my name. And upon his death, he created a death deed that stated after the property transferred to my mother upon his passing that it would go to me. Actually, not just me, myself and my two sisters. So, and then after she passed away, it's just me and my brother. But the good news is I have some beautiful nieces and nephews, and my sister had twins. And what I've shared with them, and I'll share it with you. Oh, this bug. Sorry. I'll share with you. Man, okay, I'm gonna let the landlord know about these bugs in here. What I let them know is that I will pass on some property to them from my father's and my mother's assets. So they acquire these properties during ownership. My mother and father acquire these properties that are now in my name. And I've shared with them that I'm going to set up something. I hadn't figured out if it's going to be a trust or if I'm just going to do one of those succession deeds. So there's different types of deeds that we can talk about in the VIP session. Depends on what you have going on. I want to be specific to meet the need that is in the room. And you can always learn from other people. There's a wealth of knowledge to be learned from other people if you listen and you apply it. Listen and apply it. So I hope that you have been listening to me. I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing this with you. And I'm going to wind this down actually just a little bit early. And I wanted to do the wheel, and I do have the wheel, but I'm wondering how I can show it to you since, let's see, I can figure out a way. I'll go to the wheel because I have some prizes. I told you yesterday that I have some prizes. Let's see, looking for my wheel. It's called Wheel of Names. Oh, where are you, Wheel of Names? Where are you, Wheel? Oh, here it is. Wheel of Names. I'm going to show it to you. Let me see. I could share this on Zoom and then rebroadcast it, maybe. Let's see. See if I could share it on, share this. So I'm going to share screen and pull up Wheel of Names. Here we go. Wheel of Names. Names. And then share. I don't know if this will come up on the, oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know if it is or not. It says I'm sharing the screen. Here we go. Maybe it is working. Ooh, okay. So I have entries of people that have either purchased the playbook. Remember, the playbook is still available. It's the $7 playbook, or I call it playbook. It's a workbook that describes this challenge that we've just been in, this 3-day challenge. And it has some sections where you get to answer questions. So I've entered those names into the Wheel of Names. And just as a refresher, the prizes are a $25 Amazon card. My winners are, okay, so I have a $25 Amazon card, gift card. I have a ring light, and I have, what's the other thing? A Yeti mic. And then the fourth one is a VIP, free VIP. Okay, and with the free VIP, you also get the playbook. This fly is driving me crazy. Okay, so we will spin the wheel. Let's see. Shuffle. Go. Click the spin. Here we go. Click. See who the winner is. David. Okay. David wins the first gift, which is the $25 Amazon gift card. Congratulations, David. Now I need to remove your name. We move over here. Let's see, remove the name. Okay, and now we will spin again. Let's see, it's gonna let me. One is for a ring light. Jen wins a ring light. Jen, ring light. Awesome. Now remove Jen's name. Okay, and the next one, let's see. Elizabeth. Ooh, Elizabeth wins the Yeti mic. Oh my gosh. Elizabeth. Yeti mic. She's the one that doesn't like Facebook. Okay, I probably shouldn't say that on Facebook. Okay, and then the last one is the VIP, free VIP. Let's see. Free VIP. Greg, awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations, winners. Okay, so let me stop sharing screen. Okay, congratulations to all my winners. Let me pin myself. Let's see if it'll let me pin myself. Nope. Okay. So congratulations, David, Jen, and Elizabeth, and Greg for winning those prizes. And I'll reach out to you and let you know you were the winner. I want to remind each and every one of you that the playbook is available until I reach 25 purchases, because that's where I want to put my cap on to go on to my next charity of choice. So with that, that's $7 for the playbook, and my cap is 25. Now with the VIP that I'm having, I only need 5. So that does not include the one that won. Greg won the free VIP, and I'll reach out to him and let him know when that VIP is. Actually, I'm hosting a bonus session after Thanksgiving, same time on Friday, bonus session where we're going to talk about I'll see which topic you guys want to talk about. I was going to bring in a mortgage broker who can talk about investment strategies, but you let me know what it is you want to talk about on Friday, because I have a couple of people. Oh, I just received, wow. Wow, thank you for your contribution. I just received notification that someone's purchased the playbook. So thank you very much. So Friday, I'm going to have a bonus session, and let's see, the bonus session will be, I'll open at, maybe I might open it up to everyone, but really I wanted it just for the VIPs. I believe I'll leave it that way, just for the VIPs. So if you're interested in VIP, just click on that link, VIP. Sorry, I keep getting phone calls. The VIP will be, I believe I'll do that Friday as well. 2 Fridays in a row. We'll do a VIP at this, probably either at the same time or later. I haven't quite firmed the time up for that. But if you're interested, just click on the link for that, for the VIP. And then if you're interested in more one-on-one, where we can really grow and develop that plan, I have 3 slots available because of time. This is a 30 for 30. That means we'll meet every day for 30 minutes. That's a huge commitment for me, and it's a huge commitment for you, right? But I believe if you want to actually do something, you got to take swift action and actually apply what you've learned, use what you have, and scale it up. And that's what we're going to do, scale it up. So 3 for 30. And I only have 3 available for that, only because I need to have time for each and every one to develop that plan. So we'll start with the lay out the goal, what you want, and we're going to get there in 30 days. So you get to pick it. You get to pick whether it's an investment strategy. You get to pick if it's purchasing a property. You get to pick if it's shoring up your assets and leaving that legacy for generations to come. So you get to choose. I'm excited about that. So those are the 3 opportunities. And then if you want to go even further, I have something else, but only for those who are ready. And I do believe with this group, I'm starting out at the foundational piece for those who either want to own or get their first or next investment using some of these strategies, or someone who maybe has acquired things and didn't really consider those protection provisions that you might need to actually keep that assets out of the government's hands, out of other people's hands. You want that asset to remain in your family. You want that asset to remain where you want it to remain. And that's really who this is for. So I'm excited about sharing all of this with you. Hopefully all of this with you. Just made sure my volume. Yeah, I think my volume is fine. Silent mode off. Okay, hopefully you heard me. This is interesting. I just realized my phone is on silent. Okay, so this will conclude the 3-day Creating Cultural Legacy Challenge. I've just laid out the plan for Friday for the playbook, for the VIPs, and for those who want to go a little further with the one-on-one, 30 for 30. That's what it is, 30 for 30. So I'll share that with you individually. I'll just do that in a direct message as opposed to posting it in the group at large. I know there's a new way on Facebook. It's not new anymore, but you can do @everyone. It'll make the post go out to everybody in the group. Some of you don't like that because you're not engaging with the group, and I understand that. So I'll peel that back and just go into individual messaging to recap the 3 offers that are available. So have a happy Thanksgiving. I'll reach out to each and every one of my winners to let them know what they won. I'm excited. So for those winners, I will need your email address and I will need your mailing address in order to get you your prize. So have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will see some of you on Friday. All right.